Carl Rogers was a major philosopher with a huge impact on education. He developed the student centered approach concept. Initially, in Carl Rogers' earlier years, he set out to become a Christian minister, but he was unable to accept the fact that he would be required to follow one set of beliefs for the rest of his life. And so after that realization, he switched to psychology because of the flexibility of the American higher education system. After this, he accepted a position with a child study department and dedicated 12 years of his life to highly deprived children. And this is where he began to realize the potential of self direction. Um, so then, Carl Rogers distinguished between two different types of learning: his cognitive learning and experiential learning. He believed that every person was responsible for his or her own actions, and that they cannot really rely on research, or he did say they can't rely on the Bible. Um, Cognitive learning, he claimed, was pretty much um, ineffective, and that each person has their own experiences that help them learn. He believed that the democratic ideals were should be the goals of education. These democratic ideals consist of students being able to take self-initiated action, be responsible for those actions. He believed that they help students become individuals who are capable of intelligent choice and self-direction, who are critical learners, um, who can be able to evaluate contributions made by others, things of that nature. Another educational idea from Carl Rogers was that he believed the facilitation of learning should be the aim of education. And facilitators, teachers, should respect individuals as they are so that they can better create an understanding of themselves. So one of Carl Rogers's biggest impacts was this student-centered approach to learning, and with that, he kind of defined humanistic education, which helps a student discover and develop his or her own self potential. Um, the basics of humanistic education consist of creating educational relationships that are founded on a sense of security and trust, creating learning environments where students are comfortable, free from like harsh disciplines or intense competition between peers. And he also believed that students are naturally eager to learn, so they don't need to feel this intense competition. They're able to uh, best learn when they're flexible and adapt to new situations. Students who can cooperate with each other and work for themselves are when they are going to learn best. Um, he came up with the concept as teachers as facilitators rather than teaching at students. Um, so this, he said, there were a few guidelines that he came up with that kind of help teachers for those who wish to facilitate learning rather than kind of teach at students. And it has a lot to do with the initial mood of the classroom. And you need to clarify purposes of individuals, make the widest possible range of resources available. So one of the major critiques of Carl Rogers' research was that that had a lack of scientific evidence, and that was one that I found out, like, that was an outside professional critique. My critique of his approach is that I do believe it's important for students to feel comfortable in their classroom. They're not going to learn if they're uncomfortable. Um, they need to feel a sense of security and a sense of trust. But I do believe that an environment that's too soft could be counterproductive. They need to feel like a push to be their best, and I think that'll help them reach their full potential. Um, Overall, I think his student-centered approach is a great approach for a classroom, and I definitely planned on doing being a facilitator of learning in the future.